Welcome to Sports Talk with Kifu, and I'm your host, Kifu Njabulo Ramahlangu. And as you guys know, that this is the interview edition of Sports Talk with Kifu. And you guys know me by now. I told you that something was coming, right? See, now we have a Big Three champion joining us here on Sports Talk with Kifu. He has also been in the NBA for the Denver Nuggets. So I told you guys, I'm always working. And his story is actually quite amazing. Now for him to win a Big Three championship and how he actually got there, it shows that if you persevere and you work for a very long time, and if you keep on working and can achieve whatever you want to achieve. So now, without further ado, Devin Sweetney, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
Fine.
First of all, it's an honor. I'm humbled to do this interview with you guys all the way from South Africa to Washington D.C., which is my home. It's been a very, very busy week for me. Been doing a lot of speaking, doing a lot of traveling, and just trying to embrace the moment and enjoy the opportunity and just try to move forward to create more memories and continue to lead by example to hopefully that my story, my journey can inspire or help the next young man that's trying to achieve especially to be a professional basketball player.
I can't even imagine you're in the Bahamas and you also won a championship.
I know. It's crazy.
It's crazy. And before, okay, I was gonna veer off because you know me, like conversation, and then I just go veer off, and then I'm gonna ask you about other things. So how did you start playing basketball?
First time I started playing basketball, I was 3 years old. As the first time I fell in love with it, and it was kind of on accident because my mom was like she was a really big aerobics instructor, like in our hometown, and I used to have to sit through class, and obviously the classes were in the gym, so to really to buy my time, I just started getting the ball and just dribbling, and I ended up messing up the class all the time, and I got in trouble. But that was the first time I really started, dribbling the basketball. And then I want to say the first time I played competitively, I was 7 years old. And it's just been, I just knew from that, from an early age that, I just had a passion for it. I would dribble my basketball all night in the morning. If it was snow outside, I would go shovel the snow. I would, move it, and I would still be dribbling. I'd still be shooting. And, I just had a love for it, like no other. So if you would have asked me when I was a kid, if I would have achieved this much, I wouldn't have believed it. But I worked my tail off, man, to get to this point. And there's still more work to be done. And that's pretty much how I fell in love with the game early.
So how was life growing up at home? Because you get, especially in sports, well, in South Africa, mostly grew up watching what you guys call soccer. For us, it's football.
Right.
Grew up watching it a lot. And most of the times, especially when it comes to sports, it's a lot of rags to riches stories.
Yeah. I would say, well, I grew up in Washington D.C. and it's a beautiful city, but it's very very crime infested. A lot of drugs, a lot of poverty, a lot of violence, and basketball was really like my way out. It was like my ticket, like, you know what I'm saying, to to make something of myself, man. A lot of kids, a lot of guys that I grew up with, who probably were more talented, or had more of a knack for the game than I did, they didn't really make it very far because, they fell down the wrong, the wrong path, and they're either, locked up or dead, or, just not doing well in life. So I, if it wasn't for basketball, it kind of saved my life, man. It gave me something to think about in the morning. It gave me something to think about when I closed my eyes, and I was like a big Jordan and big Kobe Bryant fan. So, and they were, obviously, they got to where they were because of their work ethic. And that's just something I just, always wanted to do and just, model after. So it was very tough growing up in Washington, D.C. But once I got to a certain age and I started, seeing my growth and development, and I started seeing the results in terms of it can send me to school, my mom won't have to pay, you know what I'm saying? Like I can go to private school, I can get a best education, I have a chance to really, make it out of DC and make something of myself. I think that was more important than me really thinking I'd be a professional basketball player, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. And last week I had an interview with Hickey Butler. I don't know if you know him, but he had a ring belt. I had a ring. Ring belts. There's only one given for each division, but he was flyweight. Yeah. So he had one. He's from South Africa. He had one. I think like 3 years ago. He had a ring.
Yeah.
He had a ring belt.
That's very hard. That's very hard to do, man. A lot of people don't understand that, man. It's hard to, especially. It's hard to win a belt, man. You know what I mean? Like everyone, that's once in a million, once in a lifetime experience. No one can never take that from him. Like, you know what I'm saying? It probably took a lot of sacrifice, a lot of hard work, man, and discipline. Like, you know what I mean? To believe in yourself, to get to that point. So congrats to him, man. Shout out to him. That's amazing.
Yeah, and he echoed what you were saying. He basically said what you were saying. So you're basically echoing what he said. He said that a lot of people were more talented than he was at the gym.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
He just knew that I'll outwork you. And most of them would show up. They could show up and just beat almost everyone. But he'd have to work hard. But he didn't mind working hard. So eventually that's how he eventually became a professional, and they didn't. So they veered off and did other things. And now they aren't as successful as you'd say he is in terms of accomplishments.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that's the biggest thing why, especially in professional sports, man, when a lot of people get to a certain point where they experience certain success and they start making, a certain type of money, and now you're getting recognition for everything that you've done in the dark, that you've been doing in the dark for years, you know what I mean, to get you to that point. Some people can't handle it and they stop working. You know what I'm saying? And that's the biggest thing. When you see guys like Floyd Mayweather, when you see guys like LeBron James and Tom Brady, and you know what I'm saying? Like these guys at these upper echelon levels, and people are wondering, how are they able to continue to excel even older in age? It seems like they get better with time. It's because they're still working like they're trying to make their first dollar. They're still working like they're trying to make their first contract. Tom Brady was the 6th round pick. He still works every day. Like he's still trying to make the 55-man roster, and they have everything. They have all the money in the world. They have all the accolades. They have enough to a point where they don't have to do anything. Like, so if they still working like as if they have nothing, then what's my excuse? What's your excuse? You know what I'm saying? What's the next man's excuse? You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. My mom instilled that in me from, when I was a kid. I watched her every morning wake up, work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, different jobs. You know what I'm saying? Never complain, never cry, never, to make sure, not that I had, but to make sure I had the best. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, make sure I had the best education, make sure I had the opportunity, to go to the best university, make sure I was always well prepared, always well fed. And that right there showed me, like, nobody in this world is going to give you anything. everything is earned. Like, you know what I'm saying? And with sports, it shows. When you don't put the work in, it shows.
If you don't put the work in, it won't work out. So how, okay, so now you start playing and then now you play in the NCAA, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, let's first start here. Some people, let's say they won't understand this. So in America, a lot of players, first you guys play high school, right? Play high school, and then when you guys about to graduate, then colleges start recruiting you, like they give you offers. So how did you pick St. Francis College? Or
well, St. Francis. Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that was
well, I had so in high school I went to Riverdale Baptist and I played for DC Assault under the I played with guys like, Michael Beasley, Nolan Smith, Tywan Lawson, Kevin Durant, Jeff Green was my teammate, Arinze Anaku. You know what I mean? Like, so I got recruited, from, by the end of my senior year, I got recruited from every major college in the country, but Kansas, Kentucky, Duke, Carolina, Duke. You know what I mean? But St. Francis, they seen me going into my 11th grade year, and I was their first offer. That was the first school that offered me. The coach said, "Listen, Devin, you're my guy. You know what I'm saying? I believe in your abilities. I think that you will have an amazing experience at St. Francis University. I would love to meet your mom. I would love to sit down." And they never, no matter how much success I had or how much, because we won a national championship in high school. You know what I mean? So we were nationally ranked, and every coach was coming to see Mike Beasley and Nolan Smith. But, there's like, look, who's the Sweetney kid? You know what I mean? That's performing, and you know what I mean? So they never worried. They were always, they stayed, they stayed true. They stayed honest. And I just felt like it would be better for me with not being a top 100, kid. And I didn't want to go to a school where I was the plan C, or, they only signed me because they couldn't get the player they wanted. I wanted to go where I was wanted. And, I humbled myself. I played mid-major basketball at St. Francis University. We didn't win much. It was a lot of adversity with a couple of the teams and just injuries. But I ended up, having a really, really, really great college career. One that still, impacts the campus up there. And I think it was the best fit for me. And it still worked itself out. After school, I was still able to, get some pre-draft workouts for NBA teams and stuff. So it's just a matter of going where you're wanted and playing. Like, you know what I mean? Playing well, because if you're doing something really well, people will notice. So.
And it's strange that you went to St. Francis. I thought you would have gone to Duke, because Duke has, if I'm not mistaken, I think Kevin went to Duke. No, I think AD went to Duke. I know that for a fact.
He went to Kentucky.
Or Kentucky. Or KD went to Kentucky, and then AD.
No, Kevin went to Texas and Anthony Davis went to Kentucky.
Or it's Zion that went to Duke with RJ Barrett. And
yeah.
Or,
it was Zion. Yeah.
Zion.
But see, that's the thing, though. I would have went to one of those type schools and never played. Or, been a role. I didn't want that for myself. I felt like I was just as good as a lot of those guys. So I went somewhere where, I could showcase my talents. So, and it worked itself out. It worked itself out.
And that shows that you actually have ambition and drive, because I could go somewhere and people say, like, yo, I got an offer from this school and now I can flex on everyone else. But you're like, no, I still want to prove myself. And I'm as good as they are. In order to be successful, you kind of have to be crazy, and you also kind of have to be
but you want to know something with that. you realize everybody runs their own race. You know what I mean? Like you can't. It's hard when I'm at mid-major school. Averaging almost 20 points a game, non-conference, and then I'm looking at other guys that playing the ACC. They're getting NBA looks and on the draft boards and stuff. So yeah, but you got to run your own race. You know what I mean? You got to trust your own journey. You got to trust your own grind. And when it got to that point, I stopped worried about the next person. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just focused on, just doing the work, just working hard, And whenever I line up with those guys who, it's going to be like, nah, this kid can play. And that's what was more important to me,
But what got you to that point where you were so, where you realized, what's the self-awareness, where you got to a point where you were so self-aware of yourself, where you're like, I'm going to put blinders on and I'm just going to run my own race. If it is meant to be, it's meant to be, but I'll put in the hard work and I won't care what anyone else does, because it's hard to not look at who, like if we're doing the same thing, like I'll have a peak, like, how far are you? It's hard not to do that. What got you to that point?
I would say once I got to St. Francis, I played early. I was the best player on my team as a freshman. You know what I mean? I led the team in minutes, points, rebounds, steals, doubles. So I think once I seen it at how quickly I developed, and now it's like, okay, they got a pretty good freshman. I knew I had to grow. You know what I'm saying? And I had some challenges there. We had a couple of coaching changes, and we had some guys that ended up leaving, some guys that got kicked out. I went through a lot, emotionally there in terms of winning, like trying to win, and but that never stopped my drive, though. That never stopped my passion. And then after a while, it got to the point where it was just like, well, I'm just not gonna worry about nothing else but just working hard. And that was what I did for 5 years. And it paid off. By my senior year, I didn't even know I was one of the most efficient players in the country. Had no idea. Now I'm getting NBA agents and stuff like contacting me saying, oh, I have a shot at the draft. They can give me draft workouts. And I'm sitting there like, what? But I play on one of the worst teams in Division I. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, went from a win-wise, like, how is this possible? I guess because I put the work in. You know what I mean? That's always been my formula for success,
So now, how do agents contact you now? You leave college, now one of the greatest teams in Division I, and then now how do they start contacting you? Do they start contacting you before the season ends? Because people start contacting. The rules say not allowed to have an agent before you're done with college, but we all know that certain things happen.
Well, what they do is they'll start reaching out to you like via Facebook and stuff. I started getting that towards like the middle of my my junior season, going into my junior season, and that's when they really start contacting me. And then that senior year, it started, then the big boys start coming on board and really trying to, and then I had arrived at that point, kind of had to go through the elimination process of, who I want to sign with. And, all the agents say the same stuff. Or we can do this for you. We could do that. Look how I did for this guy who played in your conference 3 years ago. He started out here. Now he's making X amount of, $3. Trust my plan. So it's just, it's kind of the same thing with the colleges. Every college coach and recruiter says the same thing.
So now how are you able to filter out which agent is good for you and which agent isn't good for you? Like, how do you filter out the bad how do you filter out the good from the bad? Because obviously you have to discern, like, yo, is this person really good for me, or are they looking out for me, or are they looking out for themselves and
Yeah.
not for me, and then they'll benefit through me being
Well,
the best
well,
version of myself.
well, a lot of agents, a lot of them don't. They're going to fail you at some point in your career.
Mm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just going to be they just not going to be able to get the job done. You can go have your best season, and then certain teams could just be like, nah, we don't want him, or that's too much money,
Mm.
or, like it's his job. Sorry, it's his job to get it done. So I think for the most part, I don't need to talk to my agent. See, the thing is, a lot of these young guys, and I did it too, but a lot of these young guys get caught up in the agent trying to be their friend, calling them all the time, making them feel good. But that doesn't matter. I don't need a friend. You work for me.
Mm.
It's good if we have that relationship outside of that. But I think some guys get lost in that. I don't need to talk to you every day. Call me when you got a job. Do your job. You don't have nothing to talk about. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
good. The family's good. I hope all is well, but I need you to work for me.
Mm-mm.
Versus being buddy, being nice. And now it's November. I'm still sitting at home because he's using the friendship clause to, distract me from the main goal. You should have got a job for me 3 months ago. So
Mm.
I think I've always thought about just somebody that was just always just going to keep it real with me, good or bad or ugly. Be honest, Devin. Right now, I'm sorry, we ain't. I haven't talked to no teams. No teams have hit me back. Well, I've talked to 4 teams. The coach. One of the coaches was kind of like, be real with me. I can't be mad at you. Give me something. Be honest. And I think that's where. You want somebody. If you're gonna do business with somebody, you at least want it to be with somebody you're gonna trust and always gonna keep it,
100.
honest with you. They're gonna fail sometimes. He's not gonna get, he's not gonna be able to be Superman and pull off some stuff. Some deals he might. It might be like, whoo, how did we get this? And then some deals it might be like, man, what the hell? Like, why am I still home? But at least he's being honest. Like, so I think that was what that helped me decipher.
And guys, he's tired because this man was celebrating.
Yeah, man. I was in Bahamas 10 days, man. Then I come straight home. Then I got my son. School starts tomorrow, man. I am tired.
Because when I was talking to you last night, I saw like, yo, this man is still you're still celebrating winning a championship. And that's fine. And that's great. Like, yo, celebrate the accomplishments that you do accomplish or that you do achieve. Like, and okay, so now you get to the draft, and how do you feel about not getting picked in the draft? How do you take that and then you're able to move on?
Well, it was kind of expected. They told me I was projected to go more than likely not undrafted. Late second round at best. I know the Wizards had taken a liking to me late. But I think they had a couple. I think I was a little further down on their depth chart, which is fine. Like I said, it was all a blessing to me to even be mentioned in, on those lists because, I went to small St. Francis University, Nobody was expecting me to even get that far. You know what I'm saying? So it was all a blessing. It was a learning experience.
Yeah, and I think I was looking at one of the things on on Twitter, right? It said you had someone was hosting a party for you and Victor Oladipo. Did you know Victor Oladipo at that time?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, I knew Vic because Vic went to school in DC. Went to
Oh,
Matha. Went to high school at Matha. He's younger than me, so my coaches was his coaches. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
When I come home in the summers, we have the same trainers. So, you know, the guy that played on our DC assault team with me when I was in high school was a takeover coach. And he was in charge of Victor Oladipo, Dennis Schroeder. He was doing their pre-draft.
Oh,
So I jumped in there with them a couple times, you know what I mean? Just to, you know, have them play against a pro, or, you know, have them go a little harder and push them. So it was all love.
ah, man, that's an um that's actually a good story, or because along the journey, sometimes I think we forget to enjoy the journey, and you get to meet people, and then if you never meet people or get to enjoy their company, well, yeah, you'll have no stories to tell, because it's all about enjoying the moments.
Yeah.
So and then now you go undrafted, and then now you end up playing in the Canadian Basketball League. How does that happen?
Well, I only see my first job was I went to the D League, and then I got hurt, and I didn't get it. I didn't get another opportunity till December. I went to Iceland. Then I went to Latvia my first year on a Euro Cup team. I got home. Then that's when the NBA lockout happened. I took
Yeah.
a deal to go to play in Japan, and the coach was extremely racist to me, and he was calling me all types of monkey and nigger and all types of just racial stuff, and I wasn't going to tolerate it. So I stood up for myself, and the team ended up releasing me, and I came back home, and I didn't play the rest of that second season. So I took the Canadian League job for, like, all right, this is my third year out. You know, I was at a crossroads. Like, you know, why is it not working out for me? You know what I mean? I was just working out for NBA teams. Now I'm sitting at home, you know, no money coming in, watching everybody else excel and achieve, and I'm just home. So I made a vow to myself. I said, I'm just gonna work. I'm putting my head down. I'm gonna work hard. And whenever I get my next opportunity, if I get another opportunity, I am going to destroy it. I got the Canadian League, and I went there and had a wonderful year. Got MVP, set uh set a league record, which just got broke a couple years ago. 56 points,
Points.
1,000 points in the season, and that really helped me, you know, get my mojo back. Like, it helped me get my confidence back. You know, it helped me, you know, get back on board with, you know, with myself and actually doing something that I love to do, because I was, you know, I was getting depressed by, you know, everything that had been happening, you know, for that time. So yeah, shout out to the NBL Canada, because without, you know, them accepting me, I wouldn't have had the season that I had, which probably means I wouldn't have been here.
Oh, so you would have shout out to the NBL from Canada, National Basketball League. And so now you move on from there, right? So once you move on from there, how do you get to the Denver Nuggets? Because I saw there was like a year, there's a gap year, because you win MVP, and then now there's a year, and then you go to the Denver Nuggets.
No, I got a deal for a Euro Challenge team in Switzerland, in Lugano, and then and I went and won the championship in Switzerland, and I led the league in scoring. I was runner up for MVP. My teammate got it, Travis Watson, and then that following year it's crazy how it happens, because the following year I'm thinking, you know, I was gonna get a big boy contract like Italy, France, you know,
Spain.
Turkey, Spain, maybe, you know, from my last two seasons, and it didn't happen. So my team in Lugano, which was Switzerland, they had a lot of money, and I turned them down. They tried to sign me a 2-year deal. I turned it down, and I ended up sitting at home for 3 months, waiting for something better to happen, and it just didn't happen. And so I went back to Switzerland on a mid-level team, played well, and then I came home. I found out I was going to be having a son. I went to Dominican Republic for that summer. I went to China, and then I played in the TBT, and I played with City of Gods, and we had like 7 or 8 former NBA players on our team, coached by my trainer at the time, who was Joe Conley. He was a former assistant coach with the Washington Wizards. And we ended up going all the way down to the Final Four to play against overseas elite. And we lost. And I ended up leading the team in scoring. Obviously, the games were on ESPN. And his brother at the time, Tim Conley, was the assistant GM for the Denver Nuggets. And I guess, I mean, I'm on the floor with guys that made millions. You know, guys that played in the NBA, guys play high-level EuroLeague, you know what I mean? Like, and I was looking like the best player. So I guess they never told me that they were going to, you know, they had already had plans on signing me. But I guess they wanted to, you know, Devin's a good kid. He still hasn't got his big break yet. You know what I mean? He deserves this opportunity. And next thing I know, I had my son when I came home, and then they called me the next day, said Denver Nuggets wanted to sign me. And the rest, now I'm in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Just like that. When I was just sitting at home, I was just playing in Canada. I had just won the championship in Switzerland. Then I'm still sitting back at home to now I'm in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So, and through all of that, the ups, the downs, you know, I never stopped working. Never.
So didn't you, when you rejected that contract from Turkey, and then didn't you go like, guys, can I, I'm sorry for turning it down. Like, yeah, let's redo that contract.
No, because I feel like everything happens for a reason. You know, there are guys that make millions of dollars overseas that never wore NBA jersey. So to me, it's worth it, because as a kid, as a child, you don't wake up in the morning and dribble that ball in your driveway thinking about playing in Turkey. You think about playing in the NBA. And I got that experience. You know what I'm saying? So I will, if I did it all over again, I would make the same decision. I don't care how much money was on the table. I make the same choice.
That's some money can't buy dreams. Basically.
No, I can't. Because the thing is, money run out. But you can never take my experience from me, or what I've learned, what I've endured. You know, those memories, those moments, they're lifelong. I get to share that with my son. That gives him hope to wake up in the morning like, damn, my daddy played in the NBA. You know, even though, regardless if it was not for a whole season, regardless if I didn't get a $10 million contract, doesn't matter. There's only been 4,500 players ever to wear an NBA jersey, and I'm one of them. And I got there with just working and believing in myself and being a good person too. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. Now you're back. And so you being a good person. And so now, how do you feel when the Denver Nuggets announced that they'll be waiving your contract on your birthday? Like, how does that make you feel? Like, I'd be mad. Like, on my birthday, you guys.
I think the only thing that really bothered me about everything was just that I was the last cut. You know what I mean? Like I made it to the last cut. So really, technically, I made it. If somebody's injured at that time, they're keeping me. You get what I'm saying? So it was really a technicality. So my mission and my goal at the time, I knew I was good enough. I knew it didn't have nothing to do with my abilities. I knew it didn't have nothing to do with my talent or the job that I did there. They just did not have any room for me. That was it. So I felt, yeah, it was tough getting cut on your birthday, but I wore it proudly. Cause still at the end of the day, I can never complain because that's an opportunity that people would die for. You know?
And on my birthday, I'm
yeah, it was tough, man.
On my birthday, that most likely has to be the most gut-wrenching. Like that's supposed to be one of your most joyous or joyful days in your life, and you're supposed to be celebrating and being grateful, celebrating and obviously being grateful for another year. But and then this comes through. Sometimes when obviously, and at that certain moment, you wouldn't be grateful, like, oh man, he's just cut me, and that is gut-wrenching. I don't know how you were feeling. How were you feeling, especially at that moment?
Like I said, it was hard. It was tough, but at the end of the day, I was just thankful. You know, because no matter if I never dribbled another ball again, I was okay. I made it to the top. I made it to the pinnacle. You know, I got to play against Steph Curry. I got to see Klay Thompson. I got to see Kevin Durant. I got to see Russell Westbrook. I got to see Dirk Nowitzki. I got to see Blake Griffin. You know what I'm saying? I got to see Chris Paul, Devin Booker.
CP3.
You know what I'm saying? Like I got the experience. You know, I got to experience all of that stuff. So, you know, played in Utah, like, you know what I mean? So
The
I'm
insane
okay.
asylum.
Yeah.
That crowd goes crazy, especially when I saw them in now that we have ESPN this side, now I get to watch the NBA finals regularly, because there was a time where we couldn't watch them regularly because like 2015, 2016, they used to show it this side, and then I took a break, and then now it's come back, and then now when Utah won was in the playoffs, that crowd. Yeah, and also yeah, we in South Africa now we're starting to get especially internet wasn't there's a certain time where like YouTube and all those things weren't very big in South Africa, but now it's starting to grow, and internet access is starting to become more and more accessible and starting to get cheaper yeah, in South Africa, starting to, but it's not as cheap. See? Right. Says everything is okay now, and then so now you start bouncing around from team to team, and then you end up in the Iranian Premier League. So Iranian Basketball League. So where you average 17 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, and 2.5 assists per game. So how did that make you feel? And what made you
playing? I took the job in the Middle East because I didn't want to take a pay cut. Europe with COVID, you know, really messed things up. And I had played the season before. During the COVID year, I was playing in Greece, which is a very, very high level, and I wasn't paid. I wasn't paid. They owe me thousands of dollars, and I took it to press. I had a Sportando article, Yahoo Sports, you know, highlighted my story. And I just couldn't, you know, with me, you know, and I was in the process of building getting a house built for my mom, and, you know, having a son that I'm taking care of full time. I need all my money, man. So Iran is Middle East is different with, some of their resources in terms with the oil and the gold. And,
Mm.
they have very strong when it comes to, paying their athletes and stuff. So it was in a bubble. And I went to go play.
And it's actually sad to see that uh, you can't play. Sometimes the COVID has really affected us. But
No, it really has.
but what made you leave Iran?
What do you mean? Early?
Yeah, because it says in one of the articles that you left early.
I left early because my uncle had passed away.
Oh.
And he was very, very dear to me. And the team, we mutually agreed. It was like 3 games left before the season. I mean, but it was 3 games left before the playoffs. So I was initially supposed to come back, but the team just, I think they were switching presidents and they were having financial issues, and they really breached their contract. And so I brought it on back early. I was going through a tough time, with losing, somebody that was very, very dear to me, and was somebody that was very, very dear to me, and I needed to be home to be with my family. So, and that happens sometimes, that happens. The time the team move forward, it's no bad blood. I have nothing negative to say, about them. And it's, I actually talked to coach last week, you know what I'm saying? So, shout out to, much love to Zob for accepting me for the, 3-4 months that I was there. I had a great experience, but I had to do what was best for me and my family at that particular time. So,
So, and then now you join okay, so before it says there was something where you said I think there was article or something that says where you said there was nothing guaranteed in you playing in Europe even before Corona. So now Corona just made things worse. I'm just highlighting for
I mean, obviously Europe has guaranteed contracts, but a lot of those teams don't follow those contracts. They want to hold you accountable. You have to be at practice on time. You can't violate your terms, but they give you your money late, sometimes a week, sometimes a month, sometimes 2 months, sometimes 3 months. And there's no penalty. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you going to do? You're going to stop going to practice? You're not going. Then you don't go to practice. Then they label you a cancer to the team, and you're a bad guy. But how do you treat a person like that? And not, I come over, do a job for you, do a job well. How do you not compensate me for that? Like, it doesn't. We don't. That's not. You don't treat your players like that.
Yeah, and I understand your frustration. And usually with football or soccer, as you guys would call it, they don't do that. So in Europe,
I
that's
know.
it's actually
I know they
very
don't.
strange because when it comes to soccer or football, they're actually the best. Like that's the pinnacle. If you're a football person, that's the pinnacle. That's basically the end. Okay, basically there's top 5 leagues, but that's usually like the pinnacle when you're playing in Europe.
Right.
Strange. So now, you going back to the big 3, it says you were. So how does this whole big 3 situation happen? Because it says you tried in 2019, you got rejected, and now you coming back. So what made you even first try out for the big 3 in 2019?
Well, the first time I tried to do it was 2018, and they said because I didn't play in I think the league was different now. They have different people running it. But I was cut from the draft list because they said I didn't meet requirements because I didn't play in the NBA regular season game. Even though I made NBA money and I signed an NBA contract, I guess for 2018 they, I didn't make it. So 2019, I went to Vegas. I got invited to Vegas. I thought I played well. A lot of people told me, that I would be able to, probably get picked up if not drafted. Nothing happened. 2020 hit. 2020
Corona.
2020 2020 hit the COVID year,
Mm.
and then they didn't have a season. And then this year, going into it, I was just going to be like, nah, I don't know. I kind of just, they only want big names, or, it's just not my turn, or, always something bad happens. And then some just told me just to do the DC Combine. And I went to DC Combine, and I was by far the best player there. And then I went to Vegas Combine, thought I played well, and I didn't get drafted. And I didn't hear anything. And then I got a call at 1:40 in the morning. I'm sorry, excuse me. It's been a long 48 hours. I got a call at 1 a.m. in the morning and saying that I got picked up by Trilogy, and I was going to Chicago. To I was going to Chicago to join the team, and then looks like I just came into a good situation with a great group of guys. And a lot of people tried to ask me, well, why aren't they playing you, or what I'm saying, why isn't you? I mean, it's just like in the NBA. When you join one of the teams, you have to wait your turn. You got to play your role, and my role was I was the fifth guy. They already had their rotation. You know what I mean? Like, I had to stay ready if anybody goes down or severely needs a break or doesn't show up or whatever. Then I come in and I do what I'm supposed to do. And that allowed me to, stay ready, prepare. I was the first one up on all the trips, in the weight room, getting cardio. I was the first one to the court shooting, last one to leave. So I'm just happy we came out on top, man. And really, I could say the guys are all about winning and all about being the team. And they accepted me, and they allowed me, because they didn't have to call. They didn't have to call me now. Like, they could have called anybody, Everybody wants a big three job, and they could have called anybody, but they chose to call me. And I'm forever grateful for the experience, and just got to get ready for next year. Coming right back.
And Stack was speaking. So for some of you guys, Steven Jackson, Stack was speaking on his podcast with Matt Barnes. He was speaking with Ice Cube, and he said to Stack was saying some of the players were telling him like, yo, man, this 10 G's per week, man, it's surely like, yo, it's really helping a lot, especially now with COVID and all these things. And what especially made me like that part or of that interview was Ice Cube saying he really started the league because the Big Three league, because you can't tell an athlete that after 30 or 35, like, yo, man, get out of here, man. So now what am I supposed to do? Like, I've dedicated almost my entire life to doing this, and now all of a sudden I'm still supposed to go and find something else to do. But I know that I'm still good enough to still go and play and still perform, but my age is just not there. So that's why he created the Big Three.
Yeah, which was good, which is definitely good, and it's a good league. And Ice Cube is a wonderful human being. He's done so much for our people, Black people, and all together, especially in the urban communities. And he's somebody, his movies and his inspiration and his work and his service, that's something we all look up to. And he's doing an amazing and fantastic job putting back into the communities and giving guys like myself hope to get their stories and their journeys out there. You know what I mean? And that's all you can ask for at the end of the day.
So how was it playing under Stack? How is Stack as a coach?
Stack's he's always honest. He always speak his mind. So if you bullshitting, or can I say that?
Yeah.
Okay. If you bullshitting, he gonna tell you, hey man, you bullshitting. Pick it up. Like, he's a real dude. He shares. And the best thing about Stack I like is that he shares his experiences, his stories, as how he was as a player, and insight, and to pick his brain a lot is like his stories and his experiences are one in itself. You know what I mean? He's not big on X's and O's, but I think he was a guy that played hard on both ends of the floor, and he definitely he's all about toughness. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you take it from him. Like, you go win the game. Nobody's gonna give you nothing, because that's the type of player he was. And at the end of the day, that's the type of leader you want to follow behind. Somebody that's gonna ride for you, somebody that's got your back.
Yeah. Do you think that the team, because what most people say, teams usually follow the personality of their leader. So do you think that the team, especially with how the final went, do you think that that kind of culminated, or that really mirrored his personality, that, we're really going to take this, because it was the winner takes all, like whoever scores the next point wins. And they kept on trying to rebound the ball in, and it just didn't fall. And you guys
I was telling people all week, man. I wasn't worried, man. It was already written. It was our championship to lose, and congrats to three-headed monsters, coached by Gary Payton. They were a very, very tough team. So we knew it wasn't going to be easy, and they fought like hell. They had us down early. There were a lot of questionable calls early on in the game, so the referees just kind of just let us play, in the second half. And like I said, man, that game could have went any way. They got some tough guys with Reggie Evans, who's man, Kevin Murphy and Rashard Lewis. I mean, those guys definitely brought with it. They're amazing people off the court, and Gary Payton. Even Gary Payton's one of the realest, coolest guys I've encountered, and I got to sit down and speak with. And like I said, I'm just glad everything worked in our favor.
How, for me, I'd like to ask you one question, man. How did it feel sharing, or even being on the same court as Mahmoud Abdul Rauf?
Oh man, he's a legend. You know what I mean? What he used to do to guys, I mean, it's unbelievable, man. It's not too many small guys like him, in the NBA these days. Like, those guys are extinct, like a dime a dozen.
And for me, what's sad about his story is he was cooking dudes, averaging almost 20 points or more than 20 points a season, and then he just got cancer. Man, for me, it's just that a lot of people don't know his story, and I just know it because I've been trying to follow. The NBA has piqued my interest, and and the NFL to some degree as well now, because it's similar to rugby. In the beginning, I didn't really understand it, but now I'm starting to understand. Similar to rugby, it's just that you guys can throw the ball forward. In rugby, the ball just has to keep on going backwards. Yeah. So, how did you guys feel when Jared Jackson eventually he hits that game winner? He ices it and he finishes it. How did you guys feel?
Well, he was tired. He'll tell you he was tired. That last minute, man, of that game, man. I mean, our hearts was racing. That heart was racing, and I knew it was going in, because that's just what he does. People forget Jared Jack was one of the best backups in the NBA for 10 years. He was legit probably the best backup point guard in the NBA for 10 years.
And now he's one of the few players to have won the Big Three championship twice.
Oh, James White, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, that's huge. And Trilogy, you guys are the first team to win it more than once.
Yep.
And Three-Headed Monster, it's very sad for them. They've gone to the playoffs every single year, only team to do that. But every time they've gone to the finals, met Trilogy and took an L.
Yep.
But most likely, it was a very interesting the big three is very interesting, and it's a very good place. I mean, you guys have Dr. J as coaching one of the teams. I mean, Dr. J.
Yeah, I got the Dr. J is man, he's a legend. I mean, that man, what that man did for the game of basketball is second to none, you know. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be no Mike Jordan if it wasn't for Dr. J, like, you know. And that's scary.
Yeah.
That's how powerful of a guy he is.
Dr. J. Like, for me, that's I feel basketball is coming full circle. You know, a lot of times we say old people aren't embracing new things or new way of thinking, and he's fully embraced the big three competition and not been an actual old head and said, nah, this is a new competition. And what people you guys have actually embraced it, and they've actually embraced it, and it's a new competition, and it's only going up from the way he is. It's
for sure.
Yeah, and even with the marketing now, it's even starting to get better, the TV deals and everything. So soon,
it's only going up.
Yeah,
it's only going. All the views, everything is going up. The way that playoffs ended, and I feel like the whole world was watching.
Yeah, even someone from South Africa even knows knows a few things about the big three and what happened. So it's been such an honor, and it's been such a privilege, and I know that I've taken time. And thank you so much for your time. And
thank you, man. Thank you. You have to send me the interview so I can send it to people so they can listen. But thank you so much, man. And anything I can do to help, or if you need some guys that you want to talk to, I'll send them your way. And you can continue to I wish you all the best with with your endeavors, and continue to keep believing in yourself, man, and continue to I had fun today, and thank you it was an honor, it was a pleasure for me to speak with you today. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, if you can get me Jack.
Okay. I'll Jared's probably real. It's gonna be hard. Jared's a little busy right now because he just got hired by the Suns, so I know he's gonna be settling into that. But I'll holler at him and I'll see if he has time to squeeze you in.
Yeah. Anytime he can squeeze me in, I'll make a man, okay. It's so strange. Let me tell you, before I had a dream when I think 2 or 3 days ago, right? No, yeah, I think 3 days ago. I was talking to CP3, and now you tell me Jack has just gotten a job to the Suns. So see,
are you serious? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So you see, now you're telling me, so everything is just yeah. It makes sense now. That dream all of a sudden makes sense. And guys, thank you so much for watching this interview. And yeah, I'll send you before I really wrap this up, I'll send you the link. And
okay.
Yeah. But or do you want it before or after I've uploaded it?
Whatever's easier for you is fine.
All right.
Just send it to me.
Yeah. Guys, thank you guys for watching. And this has been Sports Talk with Kifue. And this has been such a great interview. And what I've learned is, especially in this time, especially in this interview, that you persevere, go chase your dreams, and no matter how or which way you get there, you eventually get there if you put in all the hard work that you actually put in and that you're actually supposed to put in. And dreams are not for sale.
At all.
Yeah.
At all.
So as I keep on doing these interviews and I keep on conversating with different people, I learn a new thing. I mean, with Tertius, I learned then never give up. He it was never give up and be patient and work hard. So with every other interview that I've had, the one thing that's always been there is you work hard and have patience and be dedicated to whatever you're doing, and the good things will come. So
Yeah.
I keep on learning a new thing almost. It's a new thing, but rejigged. And it's actually very nice to actually speak to people um that are further. Sometimes you think, when am I gonna get there? And uh, everything happens one step at a time and one baby step at a time. You crawl before you walk before you run. And thank you
Yeah.
guys so much for watching this interview.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. And this has, and guys, I'll tag him and I'll leave his so you can follow him down in the description below in the yeah. So thank you guys for watching, and this has been an interview from
It's
Sports
been a
So
blessing, man. Thank you so much, man. And shout out to you, and I know many blessings is coming your way. So you have a take care of yourself, man. And to all the followers out there listening, like I said, I hope my story, my journey inspires somebody. Believe in yourself, believe in God, and the rest will fall. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
It
you
has been
so
a
much.
pleasure. All right, man. Take care.
Take care. Thank you.
All right.
I'm out.